And we are live. Welcome one, welcome all. It's time to celebrate the final episodes of My Little Pony, Friendship is Magic, Gen 4 has come to an end. Parting is such sweet sorrow.
We all
Another
knew thee
animated
well.
show, though, recently put it, it's the ability to change that allows Happily Ever After to truly never end. So, here to send the
This
old
is going to
words
hurt
off
me
to
in
the
so
back
many ways.
is
How much
that
more
guy,
could it hurt?
and also the following list. We have Unova Brony,
Hello, Unova Brony's final appearance here. I hope you're all ready to enjoy a spectacular showing, discussing the finer details of the end of the series and what has come out of it. Hopefully all will be entertained by me for these last pony antics and shenanigans here.
Traveling Arrow,
Everything I know is a lie, and why did the Twitter post want me to keep doing MLP videos?
well, there are over 200 episodes. Odds are there's something more you can talk about there.
Yeah.
Please save me!
That
No.
is it. Day Lover,
Hello everybody, Dale over here, and it's not the end, it's only the beginning. We still have a lot of fan content, other shows, My Little Pony, Equestria Girls, and a lot more to go through.
Something
Yay.
cool. Crimson Glow,
We're not fine. Let's make this the best casting. I can't talk today. Cafe cast we can, and hopefully try to turn off that camera.
And Calliope Pony.
Hello, every pony. I'm not sad because it ended. I'm happy because it happened.
Aww.
Oh. Hug the Calliope.
Oh, that's so cute. I'm gonna vomit real quick.
You vomit rainbows now.
All of the rainbow and skills.
That's what the show does to you. It makes you vomit Skittles and rainbows. Run away.
You turn into one of the gnomes from Gravity Falls.
Oh God.
Can you tell? Rainbow.
Oh, yeah.
Rainbow. It already happened to me. Look at my wings. No.
They were saved by the power of the road trip.
Yeah.
Oh, taste the rainbow.
Yeah.
And finally, we have one more to cue in. There is the Looney Turtle.
Hello, I'm in the background messing with the technology behind this stream.
Yay.
Oh no.
Yay!
Here
Oh,
on the
the little emerald
Turtle. I
wizard.
get that one up.
There's a turtle munching on a car. Oh no.
Hey,
Technical
Get that one up.
difficulties.
Here in a rift, we have Narcissism Evil and Optimism Incarnate for mods, and we have a turtle running the tech. It's all good.
Mhm.
For some reason, a Pegasus that cannot fly.
Wow.
Again, you have wings. You can fly, fucker.
There's the first sleep.
Okay. So, we're on a schedule here, so we're going to go around talking about what we thought of how it ended in the context of the rest of the season. So, a quick word to how you thought the season went. And then we're going to poll the chat for whatever episodes they want us to talk about. So, start getting those votes in now because we're going to start with the one that has the most. So, starting with me on season 9, I thought it was gunning for the most middle-of-the-road season, honestly. Like my previous champion, that as in most middle-of-the-road episodes. Middle-of-the-road episodes for this show is subpar. Like, season 6 was my previous champion there, but season 9 was, season 6 was amazingly middle-of-the-road. It was stunning how often I really cared that much. But season 9 was like, its great episodes were less great, its weaker episodes were still not as bad, and then at the very end, it just dropped this solid gold block on my head. And I said, wow, that was amazing, and then passed out. Like, even right before the two-part finale, like, Big Mac question I thought was pretty great too, but, yeah. It went out with a bang with a nice, sprawling, solid A-grade two-parter. And no joke, The Last Problem is probably the best episode of Friendship is Magic I've seen in about 5 years.
Wow.
Okay.
I think that's a fair statement.
Of like the quality of the series, how it develops. Yeah.
Hi. But that's me. So, going around, let's start with you, Nova.
Alright then. You know, Brony here. I'm here just saying like season 9 as a whole was it could be entertaining, a bit more entertaining than season 6 in some aspects. Like it's definitely like very like in the middle, like I wouldn't say like it's a top ranked season. It did have like some interesting favorites of mine that interesting favorites like wait, no, oh yeah, this really is like one big one that's really like an interesting favorite from season 9, but that's really it. Everything else has just been like yeah, there's been one perfect episode really, and then yeah, like the finale as itself is like okay. As a conclusion, I find it acceptable. I find it like just entering the great territory, but not like top tier or anything, but like just great only. But yeah, everything else has been like okay, good, or in some cases like painfully mediocre for like when it gets down to its worst aspects. Like either because of boredom or either because of something that shreds continuity up a new one. Hopefully something we can bring up when that episode gets brought up, but yeah.
Little bit.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Yeah.
And next we have Crimson Glow.
Sorry, I've been muting myself because I'm still trying to get over this fucking cough. Oh god.
More
Sorry.
Okay.
I swear I'm not dying yet.
Yeah.
You must live!
Real talk here. I'm gonna say that season 9 in general, it's pretty decent. I think that it's very self-aware that it's the end, and I think that was the theme of the whole season, that it's the end. It's the new chapter. It's a new beginning. Yeah, we've been here before. We've said our goodbyes in one way, shape, or another, and it's finally here, and even the characters are kind of aware that this is happening. I will say season 9 was able to make me believe in Big Mac and Sweetie Belle's relationship.
Sugar Bell.
Sugar Bell.
I'm sorry.
I didn't believe in Big Mac and Sweetie Belle's relationship, so I'm still on that ship.
Oh,
I'm
God,
sorry.
no!
I don't want to encourage that one. I know that's a ship, and I'm just like not into that. Anyway, but you get what I mean. Sugar Bell and Big Mac's relation. There was only one episode where I actually believed in anything they were saying, and that was the proposal episode. I think the finale was the best part. I think the rest of the season was very melancholy, and I think they were able to delve into that at least a little bit better. I think my biggest thing, though, is that I was so disappointed by the fact that Grogar was just Discord. I was very disappointed by that. It felt like
Me
Discord.
too.
Because like Discord at this point should not be this much of a dumbass.
Hooray! Someone agrees
Like
with me.
he is a force of chaos. I get that. That doesn't mean he's a dumbass.
And it also kind of destroyed a lot of plot lines we could have had with certain characters.
Right.
And now they're all down the drain.
Yeah.
I will say, though, like...
It's just Chrysalis.
I don't want to cut you off. Go ahead.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, like, because, like, I'm only really disappointed by the lack of, like, future proposals for Queen Chrysalis now, because it's like, dang it! Everything could have been amazing for, like, the finale if it was Chrysalis focused. Like, I mean, there was a lot more integral stuff, like, antagonists for her to face, but no, we went with this generic route with, like, the whole group.
I wouldn't say that I didn't like the Grogar aesthetic, like the whole thing about, oh, we have to work together as the villain, because that's usually how some of the best material we can get for villains is when the villains start working together and they're winning. That's like the big thing that everybody fears. That's why the Legion of Doom is so freaking terrifying in comparison to the Justice League. It's just, they lost that opportunity for the villains to work together under a single banner and really bring in, like, Grogar, or, like, bring up T-Rex family, because they actually did reference the comics when they talk about Grogar, or not Grogar, when they talk about T-Rex dad, because in the comics, they actually do mention how his father was kind of this force of, I'm perpetually disappointed in you.
Well, I will
So-
say one thing for like considering how like uninterested Discord has been in like directly throwing his weight around compared to how powerful it's supposed to be. It is kind of interesting to think in hindsight that he was the one like throwing Chrysalis, Tyrek, and Cozy Glow up against walls, like screaming how much more powerful he is than them. Like
I will say there was
after
a
what
little
happened
bit of
last time with
irony,
Tyrek,
yeah.
That felt good.
But I think that there's a major problem with twists like this, and I think somebody who said this the best was Red from Overly Sarcastic Productions in her video on plot twists. A plot twist shouldn't have me go like, oh my god, that's a surprise. It should be, oh, that's really interesting. How much better will the plot be? Because I am almost 100% sure everybody in this podcast is saying to themselves how much better this overplot would be if that was actually Grogar instead of Discord.
Yeah. It would have been so much better.
Mm-hmm.
I love Overly Sarcastic Productions too.
I love their channel. If anybody has time, watch Overly Sarcastic Productions. It's great analysis on tropes and mythologies and history. It's better than Spark Notes.
It is.
It really is.
I actually kind of like how it ended up being Discord, because it closes a plot hole that has been in the series for the longest time. Discord is the god of chaos. He's extremely powerful. Why is he never helping? And this gives the explanation of, well, it's because he was really like a safety blanket for the main six the entire time.
I like that too, but only to a certain degree. Like if it was just during the Sombra part, that would be absolutely okay. Yeah, totally. But then you have it being continued onward throughout the season, and I just don't appreciate that. And it also kind of dumbs down his character too much.
It does a little bit. I mean, like, I will say I thought, like, we should be past this with Discord. Like, I think M.I. Larson once said that, okay, if Discord isn't willing to do stuff like send ponies to hell dimensions on the turn of a dime, like, if he's not somewhat evil, then what's the point of him? And, like, don't agree with that. There was a time for that where that was, like, finger right on the pulse of how to do his character. I feel like after the season 4 finale, that had passed. His character had naturally progressed to a different point. I'm just like, for as much as like I'm interested to see what it would have been with Grogar, I don't necessarily want to dismiss altogether the value of the story they told with Discord. I mean, it's like, there was a lot of craft to it, and I mean, there was, I don't know, I mean,
it was fun to
in it.
It was fun to see, Chrysalis, Cozy Glow, and Tira kind of work together in almost this buddy cop kind of way. And I do like the fact that, that Discord is still showing a little bit of his too trusting nature. Because despite the fact that he was a villain before, due to the fact that he is with ponies, he's a little too trusting of other people, just because he saw that, with the other characters, he clearly thought that the other characters wouldn't actually start working together behind his back because he's the leader, but he didn't think that through. And I kind of did appreciate that. I still think that it did kind of dismiss all this character development that he had prior to this season, especially like in a personal growth kind of way.
Anyway, though, I did promise the stage to a few more people who haven't gone yet, so let's say Looney.
I kind of like this season finale. The amount of callbacks, the way that they went about getting rid of Grogar, because through the season they hadn't really developed him. He was just kind of the bad guy that sat there. So to have him immediately just thrown out right at the get-go, I liked that, because it meant we didn't have to deal with that character and we could get into the action, get into what the problem that's going on is. I also like that it ended up being Discord that was Grogar, because it closes that plot hole. And it also basically nullifies him for the entire episode. Like, there's a reason behind why this matters above all of the other challenges that the main six have had to face over the years. So, I love the episode, just the way that they went through all of this stuff. How there were callbacks to the season, how there were callbacks to the show, and overall it was really fun for me. So, yeah, I especially loved that moment where, like, the main six are about to meet their doom, and all of the villains, shoot a blast at them, and then they're saved. But no, it wasn't me. On your left. And it's and then this big Avengers moment. I actually did
That
a
was
tweet.
good.
Yeah, I actually did a tweet this morning where I took the Avengers
I
theme,
love that.
and it actually goes in time. I didn't have to change the clips at all.
Aw.
Are you
So it
kidding
was
me?
beautiful. No, I'm not. Like, I spliced the audio of the Avengers theme over that moment where all of the heroes help the main six.
I need to.
Wow.
I need to
That's
see
that's
this.
that was pretty apt. When I was watching it with my boyfriend, the editor, he was also like, "Are they doing an end game thing?" And I'm like, "No, they're not doing it." And then everybody comes out and it's like, "Oh my god, this is an end game thing."
Yeah.
I need to see this later.
So yeah,
Yeah.
overall, I'd say this was one of my favorite episodes. So yeah, as well as the actual final episode. It's nice to have a prologue to the series. I don't like where they went with the characters. Like, Twilight is a Celestia clone now. But it's nice to have that kind of. We've had our final battle, but here's a final lesson for you guys before we say goodbye. So yeah.
Really quick, the final, the last problem, right? That's the name of that episode. I was just that honestly, I think was the most perfect way to end the series, honestly. With just kind of like, despite the fact that, there was that Celestia clone aspect, it doesn't feel unnatural for Twilight, especially since we see her in the prior seasons. She's talking about, she's talking to the others in a very Celestia format. It's still Twilight, but she's grown, and you actually feel that growth even during the flashbacks, and I kind of like that.
I mean, I honestly thought Last Problem just on its own, like, the two-parter, I mean, I think it's, like, takes its place about in the middle of all the two-parters. I think it's solid A grade. Like, I can say a lot about the one I ended up finding myself comparing it to, actually, but I think Last Problem on its own, like I said, probably my favorite episode of Friendship is Magic I've seen in about 5 years. I thought it nailed the. Well, I actually liked where it took just about all of the characters. I thought it really nailed the bittersweet aspect by starting on the bitter, and that, because this show has to end, like, it's not going to go too dark. It wants to do that sort of optimistic part, but it, like, went almost all bitter at first, and then brought in the sweet, like, bit by bit in a natural sort of way until by the end it was mostly that, but you were still like, even if you're an Applejack type who cries on the inside, you were like, I'll be. It's the end.
Who else was surprised by some of the different? I'm a shipping person, so I apologize for this. Who else was really surprised by some of the canon ships they decided to make canon?
I mean, can I just say this about Applejack's assumed ship right now?
Right?
Eric, let me just
How about that?
Rarity Dash would be very upset.
Fluttercore for the win.
Fluttercore is definitely
surprised
alright.
by Fluttercore.
I'm surprised.
I don't know if I was expecting cheese pie.
I wasn't. I honestly
Cheese pie
wasn't.
was the most natural one. The most
Also,
natural
I think
one of them all.
I think I was the most surprised by the fact that Pinky is a mom.
Yeah.
I kind of liked that.
She seems like the one that would be the least mom-ish, but like out of all the characters, I also have to say that she's the most mom-ish, if that makes sense.
She's a fun mom.
Like she's the most suited to be a mom.
Like not necessarily
Honestly,
suited.
he has had practice with kids.
Yeah, I think it's because I think it has more to do with the fact that she has the most interaction with children, other than Applejack.
Weird.
How about Rarity?
I could say Apple Dash in this case because they both have worked with kids, but they've worked with much older kids. Pinkie Pie is like the only one who's legitimately dealt with babies and seen them grow. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
How about Rarity, the only one besides, well, heck, the only one who was going for Prince Charming is the only one besides Twilight who doesn't seem to have bothered.
Yeah.
I think that's within her character. Like as far with the only exception being that one time with Flash Sentry, it's really been just her doing her own thing. She's always been so much more focused on like her magic, her studies, her friends, being better career oriented.
Focusing on friendship instead of focusing on romance. That could be the next
Fan writers should know what to do.
So many ships, so little time.
All ships.
All right, Calliope's turn in the spotlight.
All right. Let's see. Overall, I think I liked the last season. Probably what I thought this season did really well was building up the villains throughout the season. Pretty much all the previous seasons have just had the major villains show up beginning and end, but this dedicated a couple episodes in the middle to show what the Equine Legion of Evil was doing, and I think that worked really well to build them up. Unfortunately, that led to me being a lot more disappointed with the Discord twist in the finale, because they were building up Grogar, the ancient demon goat of Tambalon, the father of monsters whose name even other villains fear, and it's like, lol, nope, it was Discord playing dress up. So yeah, that really disappointed me. Overall, though, I think the season was strong. I forget who said it before, but they knew this was the last season. They were focusing on moving the characters on, bringing things to a close, saying goodbye, and I think they did that pretty well overall. There were a lot of good episodes in the season.
It's true. I mean, there were a lot of wrap-up episodes that I really appreciated. There were some, like, what they decided should be the last note for the Crusaders to go out on, for example, was interesting, but, maybe we should save that for the episode you want to see us talk about portion, but,
Just in terms of order, though, yeah, I think it would have worked better if they had switched the order of the last two Crusader episodes. Have the grown-up one earlier, and then finish up with the one with Scootaloo's parents.
You know what? That would have probably been kind of fun.
Not that I was crazy about either of them, but I mean, yeah, I think the Scoot Current one was the better episode and the better finale for them.
What's that?
Yeah, because it
Yeah.
reaffirmed that they're always going to be together, and that was kind of the most important note to end on for them.
What's up, everyone?
They're the most fun anyway.
Hey,
We
look
have
who's here.
Raven!
A new
Welcome.
challenger approaches. We'll say new challenger approaches. Welcome, Raven Mad.
Yeah.
Woohoo!
Who started the party without me?
Yes.
Everyone
Raven.
started. That's what you get for being late.
Good. You'll get nothing in like it.
I'm fashionably late. Come on.
Like, this is
Oh,
Raven's,
please don't
like,
be coming out
newcomer.
here with your rainbow power BS.
Like, this is Raven's, like, this is Raven's newcomer line. Raven brings home the madness!
I thought that was what he said. I thought that's what he said before he went to bed.
So my line is, I'm not mad. I'm not insane. You're just sane.
That's the same thing, though.
Little bit.
Not to me, it isn't.
Silly
It's
Raven.
the same thing.
Yeah.
Take that line from Suicide Squad. Oh, I'm not gonna kill you. I'm just gonna hurt you. Really, really bad. And then everybody face palmed and said, "Oh, aren't you a badass Joker?"
Which everyone also went like, "Oh, do you want a cookie?"
Yay.
I'm not forgetful. I just choose not to remember.
Okay, that's better.
Oh,
That's a
that's
better line.
yeah.
Right.
Cool.
Anyway, I have to get the door for a second, but to give us our opinion on the final 3 episodes in context of the season as a whole, we'll say it's Traveling Arrow's turn, then Raven Mad, and then Day Lover gets fiancé privileges to get the final note.
Oh, wow.
Alright. So I guess
Aw,
it's my
that's so cute. Sorry, I'm allergic to love.
Alright, well, since I'm basically going now, I just have to say one thing, and I know Silverquill's gonna kill me for this, but I don't care. Discord not being omnipotent my ass! I mean, seriously, he was playing along with the villains this entire time, and then when I found out that he was Grogar, I was just like, Discord. The fuck? When I found out that he was Grogar this entire time, and then the whole thing backlashes on him, a bit of me laughed inside, but a bit of me also thought, Discord, I thought you had a better idea than this. Also, I kind of wanted to see like a little fight between Grogar and Discord, to be honest.
Yeah, that would have been
That would have been awesome.
That would have been so
Yeah.
cool. And then he gets depowered by the bell.
Oh,
Yes.
oh, yeah.
That was such a
With
disappointment.
how powerful Grogar has shown to be, especially for the fact that now that I know that Grogar was Discord, I have to ask one question. Discord, my good friend, how in the world did you bring back Sombra?
That's
Oh,
a
that
good
is a
question.
good point. In which case, I would say the exact same thing that will likely never be said again after this series. It's Discord. Don't question it.
Yeah, he got him from the puppet dimension. He opened that and took some out from that.
But anyway, one thing I also wanted to say, yay, Dragon Buddy grew up!
Yeah, he looks so cute, doesn't he?
Honestly,
Yeah.
I'm glad he didn't grow super big so that way he could still stay with Twilight. That was one of the main concerns. Like, people kept on thinking, like, he was gonna outgrow, like, he was gonna outgrow and not be able to stay with the other ponies.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I think that was
I've seen
a bit of a
countless
concern.
artwork of Spike being bigger and everything, or somewhat like a lapdog to Twilight, just walking around while she bites on his back. But I have to ask, what is he doing? Cause he looks buff as hell.
He said that he was I think he was the ambassador of the dragons now. That's what he said, right?
Yeah, I believe
Something
so.
like that.
Also,
The friendship ambassador of the dragons, I think, was his official title.
Yeah, something like that.
I'm gonna say that as far as buffness goes, I think that's just him.
I mean, dude, how many push-ups do you do a day?
Oh, that's not push-ups; those are curl-ups.
Okay, but continuing on, with how the episode basically kept on going from flashback to the future present. One thing that kind of made me think, oh god, the future generation is doomed. Is that, well, it's basically the cycle all over again. Basically, someone doesn't know what friendship is, and then basically sends to Ponyville.
I don't think I actually hate that though.
I hate that. I'm just saying, the cycle is starting again.
Again, that doesn't necessarily have to be a bad thing, especially considering that most of the time, even as teachers, reviewers, mentors, parents, we tend to always have to choose somebody that we see a little bit of ourselves into. And with Twilight, she clearly chose somebody that she felt that needed the help. I don't know if Celestia saw herself in Twilight. I think that she saw something in Twilight. Maybe Twilight reminded her a little more of Luna than maybe of her, but she wanted to help, and due to the fact that all that happened, she probably thought, hey, there's somebody who's like me. I need to show them the light before it's too late.
Could I throw something in the mix?
Go ahead.
Okay, think of it this way. When Twilight was in the situation as a student to learn about friendship, look where she was. She was at the beginning of everything bad that was going to happen to challenge friendship. Nightmare Moon's return, Luna's redemption, all these villains coming, friendship tested at its fullest. Now look at how the new student is going to have to deal with these problems. Everything's in peace right now. There's no big threat. There's no announcement of a threat or any big challenges and everything. Even though the situation is completely different, look at it this way. Are we any better where we are now than we were a few years ago or something? No, because we're still progressing. There's still new things to be invented. There's still new methods of doing things, new collections in life that we still have to fix, new diseases and everything. So even though that it's a lot more peaceful in My Little Pony now, that doesn't necessarily mean all the problems are fixed. There's still progression that needs to be done in order for life to continue, and same goes with friendship. So it's like, come on, she's supposed to know this. How could you not know what friendship is? That's what they've been teaching for years. It's the main six. That it's still progression. You still have to learn, and just like everything else, not everyone's gonna get friendship just because you make it so easy.
Yeah, but anyway, as for my final thoughts, it's mostly on the main six's futures. One for Twilight. Twilight, how the frick did you get that tall?
Alicorn magic.
Alicorn magic.
I really like the design for future Twilight.
Yeah,
I'm indifferent to it. It's future Twilight. I guess I wasn't really expecting more or less from it. It's just like she's just been celestified.
Yeah.
Okay. For me, I'm like super awkward about like future Spike's design, except for like at the very end in which he showed a frontal shot, and it's like that is the only shot of Spike that is okay in this new form. Like, really, it's like the reverse Phineas problem.
To be honest,
Oh God.
one of the things that has constantly haunted me throughout the entire series that always kept me thinking, what about the mortality of the rest of her friends? I mean, I know Spike could probably live for a long time because dragons live for a very, very long time, but still.
And still, he was a baby.
I think that's kind of what they're hinting at here too, because like everybody else looks middle-aged, and I mean Twilight. I don't know if that's an option if you're an Alicorn or something. Like you get to pick how long you live, because I don't know what happened to Celestia and Luna after they retired, but I mean that's.
And the retirement.
They did say that they were going into a retirement home.
Anyone want to see
I mean, I don't know,
versions
like,
of Luna and Celestia?
Like it's a torch that the longer that you stay alive as long as you carry it, but you do eventually have to pass it on. Tired of
What
doing
if
the
it's
same
just all?
thing,
What if it's just all?
That's what I
No,
was
they don't.
saying about this last episode, not being afraid of the bitter and bittersweet. Like the
Oh.
last shot, the Apple family, how they all on the farm now, and Big Mac is over the one with the kid, and Kenny Smith is not there. Like they,
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that is definitely one of the things I
I
noticed.
noticed that too, and I was just so sad that the old
Yeah.
lady kicked the bucket.
Yeah, my,
I think Applejack was wearing Granny Smith's bandana at the
Oh
end.
my god, she was!
that was-
Oh, I didn't notice that!
Yeah,
Oh,
I'm actually looking at it right now. That is Granny Smith's bandana.
Yes,
Oh. Like, is that a bandana or is that a
all
shawl?
have a good cry.
Is that a bandana or is that a shawl?
Either way, it was Granny Smith's, and now Applejack is wearing it.
Oh
I
god,
mean,
my heart.
Granny Smith might be like one of the best side arcs in this whole show. Like, I mean, her Family Appreciation Day is still one of my favorite episodes, and I mean, that was like,
Mhm.
I mean,
Yeah.
they really made a point to the
Season
fact
two.
that
You knew Pony had gone before.
yeah, that was hilarious. But yeah, they made a point of the fact
Oh,
that
yeah.
episode there was once a time where Granny Smith could have been our protagonist, and then like we see her in all sorts of different lights. We see her as the obstacle to other characters. We see her as the family gal who I guess at one point would have been where Applejack was, like organizing the Apple family reunion, and now most of the show we saw her, I guess, at the end of her days as the veteran, and I mean it was like compared to the first episode where we didn't even know if she was fully cognizant of everything that was going on around her, they really made her grow on us.
Yeah, she is definitely one of the unsung heroes of the series, and I think that's a lot of fun.
Oh, yeah.
but
Let's hear who's next on the chopping block.
That was That I think, unless he already went.
Grand Pepper.
next.
Either that or Tea Lover.
Oh, is it already my turn? Are you sure?
Well, did Raven count?
Well, I don't know.
I think Rave went. Rave, did you
okay.
go?
Go well.
Did you get your thoughts
hell?
about the final episode?
I've been there already. It's quite lovely.
Yeah, I
Excellent.
heard that the summers are quite cool.
Yeah, there's no such thing as winter down there.
Yeah.
Okay, so did you get your thoughts out about the final episode?
The final episode? No, I did not.
Oh, okay.
All right, final episodes. Give us your thoughts.
Well, at first I'm not really sure where it was going and everything because of the multiple flashbacks and everything. But I thought the entire episode itself was gonna be them in the future, not just a flashback of continue mishaps of them going with the inauguration.
Here, I'll tell you what direction they were going. Future, past, future, future.
Future, past, present, future. Future, past, present, future.
Mm.
But
It's like a game of hot potato. Play it with your friends.
Or a
So
nice
I
one.
want to take like stylistic.
like it was a nice send off. I'll give it that and everything. And my favorite part is the chick is just looking around the background to see what's new and everything. So it's a nice send off in that, but I would have liked to see more of the world, how it is, other than just one single area in Ponyville. That's all we saw. We don't see how the other kingdoms or anything else are doing. We just get word that they're prosperous. Oh, Yakistan, it's been so busy in Yakistan. Can you show us? Show, don't tell. I know that's one of the main issues I had with the episode, in terms that they just say they don't tell, and we only stay in one area. I thought the entire episode was gonna be them in the future, not a entire flashback montage.
I mean, I will say that that one I think is actually a ship that sailed a long, long time ago. This is one of my problems kind of with the second half of the show, that like starting out, the world felt big. Like everybody wanted to write like all the fan fiction about it, and there was all sorts of speculation on how much Equestria encompassed, what there was to bring in, how much influence outside realms could have had. I mean, heck, I think the most successful pony fanfic of all time was the one about how they have a big war with some other continent or whatnot. By seasons 5 to 6, I would say, the world started to feel small because they didn't, like, introduce places with a whole lot of weight to it, like, here's this nation, and this is how this one works, and this is its relation to Equestria, and these are the things that are important to...
Yeah, like the Hoofields and the Colts and stuff.
Yeah.
Like, a bunch of adventures like, here's this place, here's this place, like, they just started tossing places at us like it was a gumball machine, like, okay, put the quarter in, and this color comes out, and I mean, and then, like, after a while, they just kind of were like, well, that's the farthest one away, and I mean, so yeah, it's like, okay, the mystery of the rest of the world, it's these other places that are, you know, just like more wacky locations. I mean, the world felt small and not much more interesting what they showed us. I mean, it could have...
Well, while we don't get certain locations and stuff, I do like the history lore and stuff we do get, like with the Six Pillars. Like the Six Pillars and stuff, that episode was rather, how should I say?
Interesting?
Yeah, interesting and world building. But at the same time, I'm kind of disappointed in the sense that, wait, they were all together from the same time period? That makes no sense.
Yeah, it really doesn't.
Yeah.
A part
Like, I
of me
would
kind
have
of
liked
thinks
it if
that
they
maybe...
were...
Part of me kind of makes... Sorry, I just wanted to say real quick. A part of me kind of thinks, what if Twilight gave them, like, immortality or something?
Then why didn't she give her immortality to her friends?
No, like, what if she did do that to her friends? Well, technically, I guess that wouldn't be the case since they basically are aging.
Yeah, but you have to think of immortality is a curse, and take into account Pinkie Pie has a kid. Do you really want her to be the one to put her kid in a coffin just because she's the immortal one?
Oh God! And I just realized,
what
about Cadence, Shining Armor, and Flurry Heart?
Yes, I was
I
disappointed
know.
that we did not get to see them. I'm all.
But if Cadence and Flurry Heart are
all grown up.
Yeah, but if Cadence and Flurry Heart are going to be immortal and Shining Armor is not.
Oh, he is a prince. Do princes also get in on princess privileges?
Well, keep in mind, people still think that Celestia and Luna and Cadence are not natural-born alicorns. Everyone thinks Flurry Heart is the only natural-born alicorn, so the thought of immortality is up for debate.
Is it that part of me kind of thought that what happened to Celestia and Luna is that basically they turned to dust and then Twilight just absorbed them like Digimon?
Oh God!
Let's go dark.
Twilight looks like Celestia.
That's so
Well, I mean, come on. They can't say death in this show, but I mean, they definitely imply it. I mean, Granny Smith is gone, and if you saw, Winona had puppies, so that implies she's gone too.
Oh God! Oh
wait,
God.
where's Tank?
I think.
Oh God!
Actually, hold on. Tortoises live longer.
Where is Nevona?
Tortoises have a really long lifespan.
Anybody seen Venona, the dog?
Winona wasn't there.
I think. Did anybody else notice that Rainbow Dash kind of looks like Spitfire now?
Yeah, she changed her hairstyle.
She looks like Spitfire now, and I'm kind of digging it.
I mean, she totally rocks it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like the look.
Yeah. As far as like immortality and lifetimes go, I think they definitely portrayed that yes, they're aging, yes, time has gone by, and despite the fact that I believe a few seasons prior, like season 3, I think this happened, that it was either Megan McCarthy, Emma Larson, they confirmed that Twilight would not
Outlive her
Outlive
friends.
her friends. Yeah.
But
Wasn't that Lauren Faust that said that?
No.
I think it was Megan McCarthy, but I'm not sure.
It was
Yes, it was.
one of the tops, and
Okay.
to which you then have to think, does that canon change now, considering what we've now seen?
Well, here's the
Well,
thing.
it's not proven or disproven because the series is over, so it's not like they're gonna show them die and her still alive.
Well, then again, you also have to think about what J.K. Rowling does in her canon.
No.
A part of me kind of thought that since they're alicorns, can't they control their own immortality or mortality?
I think that is a question of debate, and about the one comment that somebody said, I forget who said it. It was never confirmed whether or not Celestia and Luna are not natural or natural. They just said that they didn't know about baby alicorns, which could just mean that they are part of a dyed race, or they just weren't familiar with the babies at all, considering the fact that they don't have babies.
Yeah, I said that, and that's the fact I keep bringing up. But every time someone mentions that, they always say because of that line that brings their status into debate and everything.
It is definitely
no,
a debate question. It is definitely it's a debate. It doesn't mean that it's a definitive debate.
Yeah,
it is
cause a lot of
it is up for debate. It is up for debate. It's something that can be discussed, but that line in the season 6 premiere doesn't confirm it either way. It opens some questions, but it doesn't actually confirm it either way.
I mean, because I still get comments on my Can Earth Ponies Become Alicorns videos about that and everything, and I hate that I have to keep telling them what my interpretation of the line was.
Oh, I still get comments on my video of Celestia and Luna that I made. That was one of the first videos I posted on my channel ages ago, and I still get people commenting on it saying, but they said that there were no alicorns born in Equestria before, so that means they weren't born alicorns. I still get so many of those comments.
I know.
I
Equestria
haven't
didn't
gotten any
exist
MLP
back
comments.
Then of course alicorns weren't born in Equestria because it didn't exist back then. Then why is it beyond her understanding? How many other alicorns do you see? None. Just them. That's our interpretation, is that they're the only ones. So of course they wouldn't know the birth of an alicorn. I still don't believe it.
Before we let too much time go by, I do want to get Day Lover's turn in, but first, one more thing somebody brought up in the comments section. For all the ships that were confirmed that we talked about, we missed Yona and Sandbar.
Oh, were they confirmed? I just saw them hanging out together.
It looked like they were in the same house together.
They came out of Rarity's boutique.
Oh, that doesn't mean that, unless Yona decided to take over, in which case that'd be super cool. But
oh wow.
But honestly, I didn't think that it was a confirmation, although that would have been really cute. It seemed more like it was those two hanging out kind of deal. There wasn't really any romantic.
The same
Flyer and Bonbon
have Sandbar as the whole thing.
Was anyone surprised that Pinkie Pie was the only one to have a child? Because
I was kind of half surprised. It was like this weird thing where it's like on one hand you don't think that she would have a kid, but in the context of the entire show and how she's been built up as a character, it makes sense for her to have a kid in comparison to the rest of the main 6, with Fluttershy I think being a close second.
Yeah, because at the same time she took care of Pound and Pumpkin, so she has motherly instinct and everything.
Maybe
Or at least
Pinky
caretaker
felt for the
instinct.
one who was most interested in playing with kids, and
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Honestly,
Sorry.
honestly, my greatest hope for children of the main cast, my greatest hope was that Maud and Mudbriar would have a foal who would turn out to be exactly like Auntie Pinky.
Oh my God, yes.
Yeah.
On the topic of this, did anybody else notice Pound and Pumpkin?
Yes.
Yes.
Oh my
They
God,
do.
they are so freaking cute.
Yeah.
You think Mr. and Mrs. Keiko were tired now?
I think so.
Yeah.
I don't think, just so you know,
No,
I
they're
don't think they're dead or anything. I just
No, I
think
don't think
they
they're
were
dead. I
tired.
think they're
No.
just like
Yeah,
they're
no,
tired.
no,
I know, I'm
definitely
just
not
messing.
dead.
I'm just
Or at the
messing.
very least, maybe
Did
they were
anyone
just
get a
out
flashback
that day.
to like
I
a
don't
slice
know.
of life? A
What
slice
was that, Gator?
of life,
Nova?
like the Tumblr blog. Did you guys get like a flashback to like that Tumblr blog of like a slice of life with like the Pound and Pumpkin Cake as like a full grown ponies?
Oh yeah, I liked that.
Yeah, now I want to see how accurate or artist's interpretation of their old age and everything.
Yeah.
That'd be interesting to see.
And Big Mac and Sugar Bell's
Oh yeah,
kid.
Aw.
count.
He was
Yeah.
pretty cute too. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
That was.
Yeah.
Yeah. And he's the one who gets to hear the stories about how he has relatives that saved Equestria a whole bunch of times and stuff, like
That's gonna
your
suck
Auntie
though.
Rainbow and your Auntie Applejack.
Oh, Auntie Applejack.
Auntie Applejack.
At least
Yeah.
we're not calling them her roommates.
Yeah. Am I the only one who was ever has anyone ever told you guys that they think that Applejack and Rainbow Dash are a couple?
Yes, they are.
Yeah, no,
I think that was,
absolutely.
They
like,
are
that was
confirmed.
They are
more heavily
definitely
implied
canon.
one, I
Yeah,
think.
They are canon now.
a couple right now.
No, I don't know, because it seems so out of left field. In 10 years, we've never seen any real hint of attraction between them.
Well, but I think that's the thing about it. It's like sort of like sort of like you know how in like a usual like in animes like you see like the bickering duo that fights against each other is usually like the one that's most
The
likely to be skipped.
Tsundere. Yeah, the Tsundere.
I
Oh
think
my
that
God.
they're very
It would
much
not be the least
old
trophy
married
thing
couple.
ever to happen, but I mean, it did
Yeah.
seem like what we're trying to imply it, or at least
They were implying it, yeah.
They were definitely.
They implied it. I don't consider it confirmed because it just seems like they just threw it out there for the sake of making the shippers happy instead of actually, building up to it in the story.
I mean, it's not like they're gonna confirm like Apple Rarity because then that would just be like, woo.
Actually, speaking of Birdie, why in the world would she be at Yakistan?
She was probably doing a bunch of fashion design stuff. I mean, if you notice in Yak Yakistan, they actually do have a lot of fabrics in there, so she probably was trying to capitalize on that area.
Or
Plus, it's
she got
cold
married
now.
to a yak.
And
Who
also,
knows?
Yona's working for her now. It could have been like a
I don't
job.
know. They just kind of came out of the shop.
Yeah,
I
they
just
just
kind
came out of the shop and they both hugged Rarity.
Yeah, but I kind of felt like it kind of showed that Yona was like working for like Rarity of all ponies, and I'm like,
Yeah, that's
I could see that. I could
Don't
see that
learn
from her.
delicacies in her own way. But
Oh, wow.
okay, before we get going again, I would want to give Daylover her turn.
Yeah.
Yeah, before we get too out there and shit, let's do this.
Sorry.
They love her. Go.
Yay! Well, I really liked the episode. I was really surprised actually by Discord doing this with Grogar. I was just like, okay, somebody out there had a fan theory about Discord being Grogar, and I was just like, oh my god, you called it. It's so great. And the Mary Sue Cozy Glow just made me laugh. And second opinion's expression, you should have seen it. Like his eyes were wide and his mouth were open, and he was just like, what is going on? And I was just like
Part is
laughing,
this?
It's
having the best time.
Very
Because that
funny.
was
slow.
beautiful.
Hold on, time out. Which part is that?
That was the part where you get the
Gets
bell.
all of the powers from the
yeah, she gets all the power of Discord, but she can't control it.
Yeah.
becomes Mary Sue-ish. She also looks like
Is
Mary
when
Sue,
you're a
but
person,
that's
not
a whole
necessarily
other thing.
have ultimate power.
Yeah, and I like the way that they handle it. I do think like Discord went the place where he shouldn't. I also think like he's more intelligent, but he is the Lord of Chaos, and some of us, I will not mention any names, but some of us already had the, background story and stuff like that, and how it could be intertwined in the story, and I think it made a little sort of sense, but yeah. I also really love Chrysalis' design. I actually made her into a spider, so I was just like, okay, somebody took my inspiration from my Divinian art. No, I'm just kidding. But yeah, I really love that because that just makes her extra creepy with her head, going around and all of that good stuff. So, and of course, the double dagger or three double dagger rainbow of awesomeness that just blew everything, the bad guys, and also the blast that the bad guys does to the castle. That was beautiful. It was all that I ever wanted, because you're just like, oh, everything is going to go okay, and then wham, the half of the castle is just blown to smithereens, and you're just like, oh, okay, maybe we need help, please. And then they call the pillars, and they're not that great of a help, and they try to send messages to the Crystal Empire, and they can't help, or they're not allowed because of it's only the main six and the new main six, the young main six, that's not supposed to take over. But nevertheless, I really liked it, and I was surprised about it. And the last episode got me in all of the feels. I really, I must admit, it got me to see Applejack. I was just like, this is how I, would like to see myself actually when I become older. And then you see like the white streak or gray stripe in Rarity's hair, and you're just like, yeah.
Yeah.
The fandom is mostly in this age group, I will say, like in their later years. So I don't know, but I have no percent of that. But I just when I was at BronyCon, I mostly saw like people that are over 18, or that's my gist of it. So I think like, yeah, we all know, we're going to come there, we're going to get that feeling, and yeah, that's just really special. And I really love the look of Twilight actually. That also surprised me, and I was happy for Spike, and I was happy for all of them. And the last problem is just such a great moral. We should do more of that in our future and what we're doing now. And I just really thought that was a beautiful episode. With also the flashbacks, it really got me. Yeah. And they missed the opportunity with the fan pandering. If they were really going to go there, where's Screwball? Like Discord and Fluttershy. Come on, if they really wanted to do fan stuff, come on.
I like that they
Wouldn't
didn't
Screwball
go
be an
to
adult at this point,
fan
though?
pandering, yeah.
Yeah,
Wouldn't-
not too much fan pandering, just enough so it's like really good.
What would you guys have done if you saw Zephyr Breeze and Rainbow Dash actually a couple?
I would have puked. I would
No!
have.
I would have
fucking
just been like,
angry.
this is the world end. This is the
Fuck
end
this
time.
mother mouth.
This
That
is
would have
Ragnarok.
pissed me off so bad.
Right, wow, you gave us
I would
one
have
of the
started
best
playing
ships
the Get a
ever
Job
and one of the
song.
worst.
Anybody ever hear the Get a Job song? It was a hit on the radio in its day.
Get some
My
job.
friend's got a boyfriend and she hates that shit.
Oh,
She tells
You know-
me every day.
You know what's funny about Grogor being Discord in disguise? I
What?
recently saw a theory by the Brony Notion and everything about Grogor making Discord and everything. Grogor being the creator of Discord and everything. But it's like, when I saw that theory, I saw the finale and you are way off. Yeah, I know I shouldn't have, but yeah, I wish I could tell you that you were way off.
I
Hey,
do
guys,
remember
this
seeing
might be-
that theory in a few different places. I saw a few different people proposing it, and that I liked. That would have been an effective way of nullifying Discord as a help for the main six, and it could have led to a really, really awesome fight scene between Discord and Grogar.
Mhm.
Yeah, I was
That
actually
was
looking
really
forward to that.
Awesome, yeah.
But hey, guys,
I thought we were going to have a bigger fight scene with the pillars versus the new powered three
The
villains.
original elements of Harvey,
Yeah, that was a
were,
little
not
disappointing.
that tough to get through after all.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Turns
I'm
out
still
the original is sometimes it's
disappointed that
just
Samba didn't come back.
Yeah. Well,
Mm.
sort of, kind of.
I appreciated what we had of him when he was there. But like, okay, I have a love-hate relationship with how Sombra was portrayed because I personally really was in love with the arc that was happening in the comics where, Sombra got his backstory shown. He showed to be a very tragic, very melancholy character that was kind of a fallen hero of his nature, and it was kind of sad, but then his redemption arc happened and it was really kind of cute and fun. And I was really sad that you had this somewhat Shakespearean style character turn into basically the guy from the crab from Moana, for the shiny crab.
Oh, yeah.
Tamatoa.
Yeah. But I also kind of appreciate in its own way. I have a love-hate relationship with it because in the comics, yes, he's very melancholy, he's very Shakespearean, but I appreciate what they did for the show where they kind of gave him a little more of a very theatrical view, because you can also see that very theatrical, very dramatic and self-obsessed kind of personality in all those traps that were shown in the prior seasons. Like, if you pay attention a little, like, who would actually think of this? And you have to also think of this character kind of going like, no one's going to think of this. And even if they do think of this, I'm going to have another trap where if you use the first spell that you used, you're basically being trapped to live in your forever nightmare. What a great person I am. Yes.
You kind of sound like Yzma from Emperor's New Groove talking that way.
Yes. First, I will
Hey.
poison him with this.
Oh, well, can I be drunk?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then the
Oh,
entire
God.
time I'll just be hitting you and making sure you sleep in the small tent. You will only pinch the tiniest tent.
She's not the easiest person to get close to. There's a wall there.
hey guys,
Wow.
this might be terrible of me to say, but there's one bright side to the time skip to the future.
What?
What?
Bunnies only live for 2 years.
Ah.
Well, you saw all the baby bunnies that Fluttershy had, right?
Uh-huh.
Yes.
all the
Yeah,
Probably
descendants.
not
Angel,
quite how it
Angel
works in
made bunnies.
Equestria.
I mean, then again, it's already been years since Twilight was
I'm
there.
sorry.
and Angel
So
was
bad that I
there.
Angels
wanted this as
lasted
a
a while
show.
without seeming older.
Well,
Yeah.
let's see. A domestic rabbit can live for about 12 years with good care.
And
Oh wow.
Damn, 12
with the
years?
fact that
Yeah.
That's the old
Fluttershy is
version.
I had a
Fluttershy.
pet rabbit that lived to be 14.
Nice.
Damn, that's impressive. Goldfish
Yeah.
don't even last that long.
Well, in the wild, they'll only live 2 to 3 years, but with human care, which, tender care that
Not being
Fluttershy would
hunted.
give, they can live a good long life.
Yeah. Let's see.
Wait, are there still any unanswered questions in the show that they're still not gonna answer?
One of
it's
the
the
questions
nature of
that keeps
Alicorns.
showing up in the one of the questions that keeps showing up in the chat is where the hell was the real Grogar? Which I'm going to say that Grogar is dead. Like
Yeah, he
Probably.
was
He's-
vanquished by the at this.
yeah, he was vanquished. He's dead. He's gone. He probably wasn't looking down at the Legion of Doom. Which
Yeah, that's one thing I was disappointed about. I'm all, oh seriously,
God.
Discord was just pretending to be him. So that means Grogar doesn't exist.
well, I'm sure
But
he
I guess
Well, he
existed. It's
exists
just,
in storybooks.
yeah.
Like the one
But
Twilight
no,
was reading with Flurry Heart and the sick kids.
Let's hear.
Well,
I was
I mean, if Gen 5 turns out to be a sequel series, they could do the thing with oh well, it turns out he actually is going to be one of the new generation villains. He's been sealed in a tomb in a sleep that is broken by the magic thing, and
Oh wow. Okay. Yeah.
Like,
I hope that's not it. I hope they don't do see. I hope
he
that
was
Gen
sealed
5
in
is
another
not a
dimension.
sequel.
Well, I hope like this card came out of his prison as being a statue. So why can't the 3 evil ones break the statue again? Like it could be possible for them to get out.
yeah, no, there's a lot of things they could do
about
this
Discord.
season, but
Yeah.
bringing that up, I mean, would anyone rather see Gen 5 just start totally fresh, get to weave its own lore, do its own thing from the very beginning, instead of try to pick up what I believe it was?
Well, I mean, we already saw.
Members, 2 of which traded back and forth, instead of trying to continue a cohesive vision out of that.
Well, I mean, it would make sense if they start a new timeline and everything rather than what we have now, because we already saw that Pinkie Pie's the only one with a kid, so we can't expect any new generation of the main 6 or something to take over.
No, I would like it.
True, considering the fact that I think that's not entirely true, considering the fact that we also have, Big Mac has a kid now, and we have one alongside with Pinkie Pie. We got one.
I'm sorry, I squeed.
Oh, the squeeze.
I mean, like I said,
I
only
was just
Big Mac
happy for Big Mac,
and
okay?
what's the name? And Pinkie Pie have a kid. If they bring in oh hey, I'm Twilight's kid, or hey, I'm Applejack's kid, it's like, where the hell
Then
were
you've
you
got
guys doing
Disney's
the other one?
Descendants.
Oh God, no.
No, nobody.
I love this. Ah.
I'm
That's
so
okay.
upset that we don't know much about Celestia and Luna. Oh, they didn't show us zebras. They still didn't show us any other than
Oh my
Zecora.
God.
I know.
Oh
We
my
never
God.
got to go to Zecora's home.
We never get
We
to go
have
to
to
the Arabian place either. What
Oh
was
yeah, I really wanted
that?
to
only
Arabia?
had-
I mean, we
Well,
went to.
Trixie and Starlight went to Saddle Arabia.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
that's
but
right.
we didn't really get to see it.
Yeah, that's
We
true.
I mean-
got to see it.
I was kind of hoping we'd get some kind of definitive episode on Zecora. At least they gave her a decent one to go out on. I did kind of like the body swap with Angel and Fluttershy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
That was good.
I loved how the veterinarian was totally aware.
Mhm.
Just didn't say anything the entire time.
But what did the chat vote for? Do we know? Which episode?
nobody talked about a specific.
Yeah,
As
like,
far as-
I mean, some people have been saying, yeah, we are around at the part where they said, get to the, like, episodes people were voting for. Somebody voted for Sparkle 7. That was really the only one I saw. Does anyone
Okay.
have any other votes in there? Because if not, it's Sparkle 7 by default.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well,
I mean, I would totally
actually,
be fine with Sparkle
I-
7.
I mean, Sparkle 7 was a cute episode. It was.
I
I
like
mean, it's
Sparkle
not.
7.
It's.
The
Uh,
two
it's
unstuck
Twilight
episodes
7.
make sense.
it's easily like my favorite out of the entire season.
Okay, somebody go first.
um,
Yeah,
ac-
like I.
hello?
Favorite out of the season.
Oh, hello.
Hey, so I actually gotta head out pretty soon, so maybe we could continue this in another stream. I got an event I'm going to today, so
Oh, okay.
Oh.
Aw.
yeah.
Well, it looks like we'll just have to like really quick do some.
The main
Do
event.
like
Uh-huh.
okay, let's do a 6-word sentence about Sparkle 7. Ready, go.
Crimson first,
Spike's best emotional
Christopher.
impact in series.
What?
as you know about.
Spike's best emotional impact in series.
Yes.
Okay.
I enjoyed it. Lots of fun.
Okay.
Okay, Princess Luna might still be evil.
Oh,
That's 7 words.
that.
No,
think
Oh,
Princess
no.
Luna might still-
Luna
It was
might
Oh, no, you're right. It is
still be
6.
evil. Yeah,
Okay. Yeah, okay, that's
so we're
6.
counting words, not
Maybe I should have made this harder and made you
Not
do
syllables.
haikus.
Oh no. Not this.
Flamingos will rule the world.
Actually,
That the
geese make
actors
really
voted
good guard
six.
animals.
They do actually. You should see the geese videos that I found.
they hurt.
Geese and peacocks and guinea fowl were all bred for a long time as guard birds.
That was 9 words.
That wasn't part of my
Side
summary.
to
That was a fun trivia fact.
Oh God, no!
Well, that's how it is.
Really, really fun and zany episode.
Look at the
Right.
voice actors wrote it.
Cutest Spike ever in any episode ever.
Aw, yes.
Yeah, I'm still wondering,
what
is
I
Gummy
remember.
still toothless?
Yeah.
I assume so. I think that that was the funnest reference to how big alligators get in the series ever.
Mhm.
Let's hear my 6 words. Megara Rainbow Dash is cute. Please more.
Oh my God! No chance, no way. I won't say it. No, no.
But have that song pointed at or pointed at Applejack, because that would be funny as hell.
Is that everybody's
one
6
other-
words?
Pretty
Yeah,
much.
but I just remembered something else about the finale episode. I loved Discord's Lord of the Rings reference.
Yeah.
Ah, you foul!
Fly, you fool!
It was so. Also, really quick, the look on Discord's face as he's just lazily throwing rocks.
Like, and as he works Tyrek to turn the tables on them, I kind of liked that. Like, Discord can get inside Pony's heads too. He's not just relying on his chaos magic.
Hmm.
Mhm.
To be fair, he did that before. The only difference was that he actually had that his magic was used to kind of like help solidify the weakness. Before, when he first showed up, he was very much a psychological character.
Actually, something I just remembered is also epic with Pinkie Pie getting the chaos power and actually managed to handle them for a little bit. Second opinion was laughing when that happened. He was just
I
like,
would have been
"Oh,
terrified
this is
for my life.
amazing."
That was
I was
good.
Yeah, I was just like, yeah, this is great.
Program the
We want
universe so it's made of icing.
Yes, everything is made out of icing.
Yeah, it's funny that Pinkie Pie's the only one that can match Discord.
Yeah. That
Yeah.
also is even more terrifying when you think about it.
Yeah.
Making sense. So what fun is there in making sense?
All right,
This
Looney,
was
you still
fun.
have.
Signing out now.
Yeah, we have to sign out.
Raven Matt.
Maybe we can pick this up maybe next week and kind of do some mourning.
Yeah.
Yeah.
like the fallout.
Our
Random
stage.
rambling.
What is acceptance stage?
Yeah, and maybe if we finish up next week, we could do more of thoughts on the series from beginning to end.
Yeah, we can
Okay.
take
Yeah,
maybe
that's
10 minutes to talk about the 10 minutes of the entirety to talk about season 1, then another 10 minutes season 2, season 3.
Like a
Good
series
Okay.
overview.
Yeah, like a series overview.
this-
Or maybe we could do like a reaction thing.
Maybe.
A reaction
As you
to
can
which
see,
thing?
those who asked what the Rift Cafe is doing, we are nowhere near done.
Yeah.
We are waiting for Gen 5.
There's
We'll be
never
back.
any answer to this.
Alright.
Most likely.
I
We'll
am
continue
looking
on
up
here.
an extensive top episode list. Someday, somehow, I'm gonna get it planned out, but not right now. And I'm sure everyone else here has plans too.
Yes.
Oh,
Yes, I have plans, and I think Second knows them all too well.
Yeah.
Ooh,
I
Just
don't know who
sent
you
this
are.
show up my spine for some reason. Alright,
Expect the meme to never die about tier list.
but for now,
Series.
say goodbye, everybody.
Goodbye, everybody.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
We're out.
bye, mortals.